All right, so the Laude Classic Cars race 2 of their day. And well, we had originally 24 of them entered. Not everybody always makes it through to race 2. Some people don't even make it past race 1. But yeah, Michael Hitchcock will lead them around in the Mustang. And then Donadio in the Escort Mark 1 will share row 1 with him. 68 Mustang of Ferdy Mouton will share row 2 with his Capri counterpart. Well, it's actually the Mustang V8 versus the Capri V6 of 73 Trevor Momberg. And then the 29 of Jean-Andre Boertes in the Skyline, the Saybat Skyline, sharing row 3 with Andrew Honeywell, who's in the 944 Porsche Turbo.
Right, here we go. Laude Classic Cars, race number 2. It's going to be good stuff, that's for sure. Probably the field, as I said earlier on, that's got the most entries for the day. And
yeah, Wayne Laude in his Escort will be the 7th position man, and that's pole in Class C. Just going through the field ahead of Nicholas Hutchings, Lane Hutchings rather, in the Mark II Golf, and then the 44 of Wynand Nel, that's the Ford Anglia, and then the Sirocco of Trevor Hutchings.
right, so here we go.
The Kia Carnival. What a carnival to drive, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the safety car. So Michael Hitchcock is there on pole position, and Franco Donadio is there in that second pole. Then the Mustang of Ferdy Mouton is there in 3rd. Trevor Momberg will come through in P4. P5 is the Saybat Skyline of Jean-Andre Boertes. That's the first 5 cars you see there on the grid. Andrew Honeywell is coming through as well with his Porsche. He'll be there in P6. That's the first 3 rows of the grid. As we wait for them to come through, here comes Wayne Laude. Behind him is Lane Hutchings. He'll be in P7 and 8, the 2 of them. Trevor Hutchings will be in P10. Herman de Kock is coming through as well. He'll be there in P11. Wynand Nel in the Anglia is coming through. He will probably be in P9. Yes, he will. Then we've got Dion Conradi there. We've got Dave Rowley behind him with the VW Beetle. So that's the first 12, 14 positions. Brian Evans is also moving up into P13. Behind him is Arends Viljoen. And that's your first 15 cars out there. The rest are tucked in there behind him. Jonathan Gunn will start from the back because remember you got a DNF in race 1.
Yeah, behind Anton Rolino in the Morris Minor, just a smidgen under 1300, and then Malcolm Carstens in the Cortina behind Neil Mouton's Alfa Julia. And we also have Bruce Avon Taplin, who's actually taken the bodywork off the front, the scoop off the front of that Toyota.
Yeah, I think he probably thinks it handles better without the scoop. What did you call it early on?
The cattle scraper.
I don't know where you come on cattle scraper.
I think it's old train terminology that I was using over there.
Well, it's unique to say the least.
But yeah, the field will go off now. There's the CRX as well of that is James Mateer. So that's the Honda CRX. Devon Pillay, I think it's also in the Porsche 944, if I can recall. Although he's in the BMW. He was at one stage, I think, in a 944, but the BMW boxy shape E30. And then he's, of course, got like the likes of Herman de Kock, as Frankie pointed out, in that Escort Mark 1. Dion Conradi in the Conquest. I was just taking a look earlier on. Tires on the front 2. It's going to be Avon versus Hoosier. As far as things are concerned, the Avon's on the Mustang, the Hoosier's on the Mark 1. You always see them running, a lot of them running the slick.
Well, it is a lovely sight to see all these different classic cars, different makes, from 1000cc Morris Minors to different 4 cylinders to 6 cylinders to thundering 8 cylinders working their way around Kalani. Some of them are front wheel drive, some of them are rear wheel drive. It's a lovely sight to see all the different makes out there in the Laude sponsored classic cars as they work their way slowly but surely up the Tigerberg Straight towards double right-handed turn 4. That's known as Saddle Sweep, after the great Saddle van der Merwe. There's a big board there that says Saddle Sweep on it, and used to be called Malmesbury. That will not be called Malmesbury again. It will be called Saddle Sweep. And there's even a photo of the great man himself on the board there in turn 4.
It's a great inspiration to see coming through that section. The legend Saddle van der Merwe. I think it gives you an extra few tenths per lap, I would think. And
I agree. Every time you come around and you see Saddle's face, you tend to want to go quicker. Definitely.
Yeah, they come down the back straight though. Full Herald in the safety car. The Kia Carnival, but gingerly they make their way down the back straight now. What a field of motor cars in this Laude Classic Car Race 2. And rounding them all off will be Jonathan Gunn. Frankie did point out that he did not complete race 2. He had to pull over to the side of the circuit against the wall. And hopefully his race lasts much longer this time. It will be, I think, very good if that is the case.
Right, the classic cars working their way down into turn number 5 into a fast-run corner. The safety car will peel off, and then we'll have this one underway. It's a pity that we're going to have the qualifying basically for the Formula 1 race tomorrow after 5. So I think this race meeting could be done by the time we get to the actual qualifying. But I can tell you the quickest driver in FP3 was Aston Martin or Fernando Alonso. Was the quickest driver out there in free practice 3. But no, that's only practice. That's not qualifying yet. Right, here we come to the line. Byron, take them away. The Laude Classic cars.
To our right, it is the Mustang of Hitchcock. To our left, it's Franco Donadio, I should rather say, in the Mark 1. Here we go now, away to start this Laude Classic Car race. And the whole shot will be Michael Hitchcock into turn 1. Then Donadio. Then followed by the Trevor Momberg Capri. So we could have ourselves here a Ford top 3 here, as actually top 4 I should rather say. Ferdy Mouton is in 4th, but could he come up into 3rd? No, he's on the outside, and he's much quicker and earlier on the brakes there than the Capri ahead of him. V6 versus V8 there, and then the Skyline of Boertus, and coming up ahead of him there is the Golf Porsche Turbo of Andrew Honeywell.
And then right behind him is the Skyline, the Sabat Skyline of Jean-Andre Boertus. And he's got Wayne Lotter right in there, followed there by the 2 Hutchings family members. And then the Anglia of Wynand Nel. So out of turn 4 they come, down the back main, through Saddle Sweep, down the back straight they go. And there's no replacement for displacement, that's for sure, as that 8 ponies work together on that Mustang, and he pulls 2, 3, 4 car lengths on Donadio as they work their way out of turn 5, out of fast run corner.
Yes, straight line speed, Frankie, but on the brakes, you'll see he'll close up in that section, Donadio, and that's where he makes his magic work over here. Down the straight once again, the Mustang. You can hear the growl of that V8 as that straight 4 comes along with him now. Under braking, he'll be later on the brakes there, and into turn 1 once again. There we go, we have the Capri of Trevor Momberg versus the Ferdy Mouton Mustang. They are hammer and tongs at it at the moment. Remember, Momberg leads Class B ahead of Mouton by a tenth of a second. Honeywell 3rd, Boertus 4th in class. Lotter is going to be in the escort. He's leading Class C ahead of Lane Hutchings, who's just, he's 1.4 seconds ahead of his old man, Trevor Hutchings.
Yeah, they're going through turn number 2 right now. Then we've got the escort of Wynand Nel. Behind Wynand Nel, we have got Herman de Kock, and right in there behind him is the Conquest of Dion Conradi, followed there by Brian Evans, who sits out there in that Mark 1 Escort. Then it's a bit of a gap before we see Adams Viljoen going out there with a GT Junior, and right there with him is a Sirocco of Jonathan Gunn, and Devon Pillay is in there as well. Then right behind Pillay is that Beetle of Dave Rowley.
Well, Pillay, Frankie, he was actually at one stage leading the Class D section, and if he is ahead of Viljoen, he still is at the moment. So what happens is there's the BMW trying to battle it out side by side towards turn 5. Pertamina Fastron. On the outside is Pillay in the BMW. He pokes the nose ahead through the inside, and there they rotate. There, Devon Pillay has spun it in turn 5. Yellow flags will be waving in that section, so no passing. Devon Pillay, who was battling it out for the lead in turn 5 with Adams Viljoen, has rotated.
Yeah, I spun the car there in turn 5, and that car that's in Fastron corner. The yellow flags is out there, and that car is semi on the racetrack, as a matter of fact. So we'll have to look and see what call and decision gets made. He's got the car going. He's got the car going again, and I think he's going to just try and move right out the way. Hopefully he will rejoin again. However, never mind that. Where are our front runners? They are making their way down the back straight. Down the back straight they go towards that situation there in turn 5, but the car's back on track again, so the yellow flags and lights are gone there as the two front runners make their way into turn 5. Michael Hitchcock working his way out of Fastron corner, and right behind him the Mark 1 Ford Escort of Franco Donadio.
He's going very slowly. It's got a bent bumper at the front there, Frankie. He'll be lapped fairly shortly, though. As they go across the line, there'll be 5 laps left to go in this race. Michael Hitchcock leads the way. It was 1.7 seconds the last time around. It is now 1.6 and a 1:22.828 for Donadio. He's taken 0.2 of a second out of Hitchcock on this last lap.
There's another fight that's heading into turn number 1. This is the one that we want to have a look at going down into turn number 1. It's a 4-way fight. And it is the Mustang of Fadi Maton that leads the Capri of Trevor Momberg out of turn number 1. Then the Porsche of Andrew Honeywell. And then right there behind Honeywell is that Sabat Skyline in the hands of Jean-Ray Boertes as the 4 of them make their way through turn number 2, Quarry Corner. And there's a lovely, lovely fight going on between these 4 as they work their way through the kink and race down towards turn 3, Interceptor Corner.
Onto the Joubert Straight though, Frankie. I just want to make an honourable mention there for Jonathan Gunn. He's cutting through the field and he's going into turn 2 now. Now he finds himself ahead of Herman de Kock, and that is in 11th position. He got past the Conradi Conquest as well. I see some dust flew up in turn 3. So I don't know if somebody went farming or beaching at that particular moment in time.
Yeah, and Brian Evans sits there just behind Conradi as they work their way out of turn 3. And have a look at this, because they're going now towards turn number 4. And that's another 3, maybe even a 4-way dice, because there's a car just ahead of them. That is Jonathan Gunn going down the back main. Then you got this 3-way dice, Herman de Kock, Dion Conradi, and Brian Evans. That's making their way down the back straight now towards turn number 5, Fastron corner.
And just to note that Jonathan Gunn is the 133 Sirocco in 12th position. He's got actually de Kock that he got past. Now it's Vaynant Nell. That's the next man that he could join. He could join the back end of that Class C section with the 2 Hutchings, Lane and Trevor, right ahead of him as well, as we have 4 laps left to go.
4 laps left to go. The 2 leaders are working their way towards Sarl Sweep. That's turn 4. That is the Ford Mustang and the Ford Escort as they go down the back main. Michael Hitchcock and Franco Donadio as they work their way now towards turn number 5, Fastron corner. But heading now towards turn number 4 is a lovely fight that's busy raging on. And we'll see them come into view now behind the trees. They'll come into view right now, and it is the Ford Mustang of Fadi Maton, the Ford Capri of Trevor Momberg. It is a 4-way fight. Then the Skyline of Jean-Ray Boertes, and catching them there is the Porsche of Andrew Honeywell. The 4 of them racing down into turn number 5, Fastron.
Well, we have a bit of a gap then, and it's going to be Wayne Laude in the escort that leads by 1.6 seconds from Lane Hutchings. They're going to turn 5 now, Pertamina Fastron. Lane Hutchings, in turn, is going to be 3.4 ahead of the Trevor Hutchings. And then we'll watch them as they come around now, out of the turn 5 section and onto the main straight. They'll then run, I said, 1.6 seconds. Now, what is it going to be this time? As they cross the line, Laude crosses the line, Hutchings will cross the line. It's 1.8, an additional 0.2 of a second quicker over the last lap for Wayne Laude in Class C.
Yeah, that fight that's going out of turn number 2, that's the one that we should be focusing on right now. And that is the one that's heading towards turn number 3, Interceptor Corner. And that is the Mustang of Fadi Maton. Right behind him is the Capri of Trevor Momberg. Then Honeywell in the Porsche has now got his nose ahead there of Jean-Andre Boertes in the Skyline as they work their way out of turn number 4 and going down to the back straight. And these 4 have now put a lap there on the boxy BMW of Devon Pillay.
Yeah, things have just not been the same for Devon Pillay ever since he went off of the circuit. You could see that there's visible damage to the car. It is the bumper though, but we don't know what else has all happened as well. And, well, we'll try and get to the end of the race, I am sure. He's currently in 22nd position. Fortune will lead that Class D section at the moment, the 125 numbered Alfa Romeo GT, but he also seems to be going particularly slowly. He is currently 8.3 seconds ahead of the 700 of Mattia, that finds himself all the way down there, like I say, in 18th position. James Mattia, the Honda CRX. Frankie, there are 2 laps left to go.
Yeah, the 2 leaders, I'm going to mention them, are making their way into turn number 4, into Saddle Sweep, but the actual real dice are still going on here into turn number 2. Working its way out of Quarry Corner, and that is the dice that, well, these 4 guys have not left each other alone for the majority of the race as they race through turn 3, Interceptor Corner. It's the Mustang, the Capri, it's the Nissan Skyline and the Porsche that's working their way through turn 4 now, and it's the V8 of Fadi Maton that leads a group of cars down the back straight. Right behind him, the Capri of Trevor Momberg, the Skyline of Jean-Andre Boertes, and the Porsche of Andrew Honeywell as the 2 leaders make their way through turn number 1 on their final lap.
Yeah, they just made a pass at Honda CRX of James Mattia, and they are still in close proximity to each other. It's about 1.5 seconds between the 2 of them with a lap left to go, Frankie. Here they go now into turn 2, into Quarry Corner, out of Quarry Corner. It's going to be a heck of an effort, I have to say, to try and catch up that 1.5 seconds over the last lap. I think that Hitchcock's just going to have to keep it on the tarmac, keep it on the black stuff, and he'll get this race win. Don't want to speak too soon though. He goes onto the Tigerberg straight now and into Super Saddle Sweep.
Yeah, they're going through a Saddle Sweep, working down the back main as they race towards a turn number 5, Fastron Corner for the final time. That's your 2 front runners that's going down the back straight. Ahead of them is a Dave Rowley Beetle, but he's okay. They won't catch him before they get to the checkered flag. And there's another dice that we're going to chat about. There's quite a few dices going on around this track, but let's first get the leaders to the checkered flag as Rowley comes around to start his lap. Byron, the leaders, heading towards the flag.
Yeah, Hitchcock will take victory, having led every single lap of this race and the fastest lap of the race on the very last. It's the 1:22.529, and he finishes 2 seconds ahead of Donadio. We wait now for Ferdy Mouton and Trevor Momberg are coming down the back straight, I see now. And they'll be coming into turn 5. Pertamina Fastron, I can see them. They're in a gaggle of cars over there. That's Mount Carstens. They're trying to make their way past. And this has now allowed the Sabat Skyline to close up the gap. But it's going to be Ferdy Mouton that will take the victory in Class B ahead of Trevor Momberg. Boertes will take 3rd in class. Andrew Honeywell will come around 4th and 6th overall.
Right, another fight that's coming out of turn number 5 right now, coming down towards us out of Fastron Corner. Here they come towards us. It will be Jonathan Gunn in the Sirocco And behind him will be Wayne Laude. Behind Wayne Laude will be Lane Hutchings. Pillay crosses the line, but he's a lap down. In the next car on the lead lap coming towards the checkered flag now is Trevor Hutchings. And behind him is the Anglia of Wayne Nell. And then there's one more dice heading towards us. It's a four-way dice. Bruce Taplin is side by side with Herman de Kock. The two of them come down. It's going to be Taplin, de Kock, and then it is Dion Conradi that comes home just ahead there of Brian Evans.
And then we have Rowley coming up now to end his race in the Beetle. That will be the winner of Class E. And then we wait for the CRX of James Mathieu. That's the Honda CRX, the white one that he drives to the circuit. But I think there could be a lap down that he has.
He's a lap down. He's slowing down. He's on the back straight. So he has finished his race one lap adrift from the leaders.
Well, that was some lovely racing here from our Laude Classic cars.